If you're like me, one of your absolute favourite types of Digivolution is Armor Digivolution, one of, to me, 02's strongest traits. As a kid, I always loved the idea of Vmon and friends taking on elements of the adventure partners to achieve stronger forms. But I also wondered what would happen if the adventure partners got to use their own Armor Digi-Eggs. What would an Agumon Courage armor look like? And the fact that Gatomon and Patamon could Armor Digivolve didn't help that fire at all. And believe it or not, official Digimon media has actually explored that very concept. So on today's video, I'm going to be looking at that official source as well as some fan art interpretations of what we think Armor Digivolutions for the original adventure partners might look like. What is up everybody, welcome back to another video and thank you for Armor Digivolving me towards 30,000 subscribers by liking, subscribing and ringing that MFing bell. Am I YouTubing right yet, Susan? And yes, today we're talking the armor evolutions of the original adventure partners. We know for a fact it's not solely the case that the Digimentals or Armor Digi-Eggs are exactly the same power as the adventure partners. The adventure partners are not contained within those Digi-Eggs, because the armors themselves aren't carbon copies of the aesthetics of the adventure Digimon. Because obviously Digimon like Patamon and Gatomon can Armor Digivolve to Pegasusmon and Nefertimon, which gives them a new aesthetic and new armor. And interestingly, we do sort of have a canonical example, dubiously canonical example, of the rest of the adventure partners Armor Digivolving. Kinda. In the Digimon Adventure 02 audio CD Armor Evolution to the Unknown, translated by the Digilab link in the description as always, there is a chapter called Armor Evolving in Chaos, which really zeroes in on the silly side of Armor Digivolution, and indeed all the adventure partners that haven't already Armor Digivolved before get to, possibly. The earlier chapters of this audio drama focus on the 02 kids kind of swapping their Digimental around, and accessing armor evolutions we hadn't seen in the show. But during the 5th chapter, Agumon suggests that the rest of the adventure partners try Armor Digivolving to fight Boltmon, to which Gomamon responds, well, we technically can't, but right now absolutely nothing is making sense anyway, so maybe something will happen in all the chaos. And then they all Armor Digivolve. As such, Biyomon becomes Kyukanchoumon, Tentomon becomes Jiko Tyumon, Palmon becomes Galmon, Gabumon becomes Kitsunemon, Gomamon becomes Urashimamon, and Agumon just kinda goes doolally.
So they started calling me Frankie Donkey Brains. And it was very traumatic.
Agumon for some reason does not Armor Digivolve in this. Maybe they didn't want to commit to what his courage evolution might be, poor lad. It from there deteriorates even further, with even the humans joking about being able to Digivolve and a bunch of other silliness. As I said, this audio drama is kinda crazy and possibly non-canonical, but it is at least an official media exploring the idea of the original adventure partners Armor Digivolving. Besides, of course, Gatomon and Patamon, as I said earlier. I definitely would like to see a less dubious canon take on this, or at least a more serious look, you know, maybe in something in the future, just because I absolutely adore Armor Digivolution and I'm always looking for excuses for it to be explored further. And listen, if you're interested in Digimon and Japanese exclusive audio dramas, you're probably also interested in Japanese culture, maybe even getting together with your own friend group of Digidestined and sharing snacks out. And that's why I think you'll love today's sponsor, Bokksu. Bokksu is a premium Japanese snack box subscription service that delivers original assortments of Japanese snacks and tea pairings. The snacks will always be different. It's a gourmet journey through Japan every month, and this month's theme is Hokkaido Holidays, which if you're a Digimon fan, you'll know Hokkaido from when they see it floating in the sky in the digital world during the Dark Masters arc. What I love about Bokksu is that each box does come with this guide which tells you about the theme but also lets you know all about your snacks, as well as where in the specific region of Japan that each of your snacks is from. Which means of the 2 months of boxes I've had so far, I found the snacks enjoyable and the whole box super informative. For example, this month has the Jaga Pokuru, which are kind of like potato sticks. Super potatoey, like a really condensed french fry. So I really do genuinely enjoy Bokksu. Every time I see a friend, or my fiance is staying with us right now from America, I'm always like, ooh, try this, this is so much fun from this Bokksu box. Especially with people that aren't used to Japanese food, seeing their kind of face just go through all the emotions as they try new flavors is so much fun. And if you want to join in on the Bokksu fun, Bokksu makes such a perfect and memorable gift for anyone in your life who appreciates Japanese snacks and culture, especially during a time where people aren't able to travel as easily as they would like. And actually, not only would you be gifting them Bokksu, which is already awesome, but also you would technically be gifting them the chance to win free tickets to Japan, because Bokksu is having a giveaway. They will be picking 5 lucky winners to win a free set of tickets, and anyone who is subscribed before December 31st is automatically entered. I'll include a link in my description so you can check out the terms and conditions and other methods of entry. Thank you to Bokksu for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to those adventure armors. I now want to thank the incredibly talented HLR Art, who has drawn depictions of every single one of the audio drama adventure armor evolutions. He said he wanted to achieve a look for each of them which matched the style of Nefertimon and Pegasusmon, not visually but in as much that the Armor Digivolutions use the body of the rookie but either elongate or stretch it out to fit the form and then armor them rather than feeling like a full stage step up like to champion level, as well as trying to keep the consistent theming of the Armor Digiegg. First is Biomon's love Armor Digivolution Kyukanchoumon. HLR based this design on its name origin, the common hill miner, whose scientific name is Gracula religiosa. HLR took the religiosa part of this name to inspire the design, especially as the Digiegg of Love reminds him of a Popat. As such, HLR saw Kyukanchoumon as a kind of priest in a religion around Valdemon. This holy bird design would also link the ring or cuff Biomon wears evolving into a holy ring. I absolutely love this interpretation. I think it all comes together so beautifully by including Biomon's body and the Digiegg, as well as a new direction we haven't seen with the Digiegg of Love before. Next is one of my favourites of this bunch, Jiko Tyumon, who is Tentomon with the Digiegg of Knowledge. HLR wanted to use an insect to tie into Tentomon and Knowledge that hadn't been used before, so settled on an earwig. Jiko Tyumon's name contains trouble and order in Japanese, and so HLR settled on a kind of schoolroom criminal, making Jiko Tyumon a Bancho or Bancho adjacent Digimon. He is trouble but is part of a gang which has order or a hierarchy. I really like this depiction as it both fits to the name and design conventions, but also really ties together that Japanese classroom troublemaker aesthetic with something annoying like an earwig to make for something I think especially fits into that audio drama's kind of zany mood. Then is Gabumon's friendship armor Kitsunemon. HLR was inspired by Cubimon for this Northern Fox design and folded in the lightning elements from Razermon. He also says because he is a fan of The Flash, he thinks Kitsunemon would be a speedster, acting as a messenger to different Digimon groups around the digital world when there is urgency. This design I think feels the most likely of the group, one I can see really happening, and I think feels like a good origin point which could lead into Razermon via the Digiegg of Friendship. It also just feels like a really fun take on kind of an alternate champion form for Gabumon if nothing else. Next is Galmon, Palmon with the Digiegg of Sincerity, and HLR says this was the easiest to make. If you consider Palmon a child and Lilymon an adult, Galmon slots into the middle as a teenager, specifically an American cheerleader teenager, as Mimi's character is very connected to American fashion culture. When I first read about the audio drama, Galmon was the one that I could see most clearly in my head, and HLR's art is almost exactly what came to me. It folds in the elements I expect from the Sincerity Digiegg easily because, well, sincerity mostly just means grass. I could easily have seen this in something like the Ponchomon episode of Digimon Adventure 2020 in place of Ponchomon. And finally we have Urashimamon, Gomamon's reliability armor. HLR said this was the hardest to come up with. He only had the legend of Urashima Taro to go by from Wikipedia, and that's what informed the net and turtle shell design. He also wanted it to feel somewhat like a very futuristic android like Astro Boy, but during the design a scar across the eye felt appropriate, making him a sort of pirate android, which HLR says fits Vikemon. I actually really like this idea because at first a kind of futuristic android might seem really out of left field, but I think it works well when you compare it to the vehicle-based Submarimon. The metallic vehicular armor and cockpit etc. would make a lot of sense if the original Digimon that inspired it was this kind of futuristic android pirate. I will say of all of these designs, I was least initially sold on this interpretation, but HLR's explanation that he gave me now contextualizes it so much more, and I actually kind of like it. Kind of like Shakuamon, I guess. So that's a look at what potentially armor evolutions for the adventure partner Digimon might look like, based on our one canon example of it kind of happening. I do feel a little bit bad for Agumon, who kind of gets the short end of the stick in the audio drama, so I wanted to give a quick shout out to @elpoyomon, who many months ago now, video production schedules are crazy, worked together with me me to design a Agumon Armor Digivolution, Razermon. The idea here was to do something similar to Flamedramon, but with a full dinosaur leaning as opposed to a draconic leaning, inspired by Agumon's dinosaur aesthetic. I wanted it to feel different to Flamedramon, but also familiar, a kind of echo, and we settled on something inspired by raptors. I adore this design, and Elpoyomon did so much good work bringing it to life. We settled together on the name Razermon due to his incredibly sharp claws, talons, armor pieces, and others. I think it's a striking design which really feels like a progenitor to Flamedramon. And that's everything. If you have also done fan art of adventure armors, or basically any Armor Digivolutions or anything else, join my Discord in the description or at me on Twitter, Karn_EX. I always adore seeing people's Digimon fan art, especially Armor Evolution, so Discord, Twitter, let me know, show off your stuff. And in the comments down below, let me know your thoughts on these Armor Digivolutions. This is the first time you're hearing about the audio drama Where the Adventure Partners Armor Digivolve, and let me know what you think of these fantastic artist designs for these Armor Evolutions. Please be respectful. People put hours of work into this art. You cannot like the design aesthetic, but please be respectful when you talk about it. Just my little request. Huge thank you to HLR Art and Elpoyomon, as well as the Digilab for the translations of the audio drama. And thank you to my amazing sovereigns Andrew Sobel and ZDK14. You guys are absolutely killing the game. Thank you so much, guys. It truly means the world. It is phenomenal support. And my fantastic Dava Knight 12, as well as everyone else you can see on the screen right now. Make sure you also check out the cards above and below me to check out more videos on Armor Evolution or something tailored specifically to you from one of the other fun parts of the Digimon franchise, and I will see you next time when we go digital. Bye bye.